A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And I hope your morning is going well wherever you're listening from, whether at home, on your way to business, or you shop, or just taking a quiet moment to listen. Now, the Speed Lane is where we talk about issues that affect our lives, our communities, and even our society at large. Things that may look simple on the surface, but actually carry deeper meaning when we begin to talk about them. Now, today is the 11th day of June 2026, and it's Thursday. And on the international calendar, we are joining the rest of the world to mark a very important day. Today is the International Day of Play, a day set aside by UNESCO to remind us how important play is, for children, and even to encourage societies to recognize the role of play in healthy development. It is also a time to maybe even come together and even make sure that every child, is able to fulfill their right to play, not just as a form of entertainment, but as part of growth, learning, and well-being. And this year's theme is actually very clear and very powerful. It's protect play, protect childhood, because restricting opportunities for play directly affects the child's well-being and even development. When play is reduced or removed completely, it does not just remove fun, it affects how a child thinks, feels, interacts, and even grows. But beyond mere recreation, play is more than just games, because play is a universal language, a language spoken not only by children but by all people of all ages as well, across all cultures and communities. That is why today we are not going to be restricting it just to the children. Even as an adult, why is it important for you to play, and how often do you play? We will get to that, and that is where today's conversation becomes even more interesting, because while we often think that play is something for children, we also have to pause and ask ourselves something important. How often do we as adults actually play? Not work, not responsibilities, because when you talk about play, adults might even think about it like maybe it's the work or the little responsibilities, not stress, but play, laughter, relaxation, creativity, joy, and simple human connection. And maybe today it's not only about children after all, maybe it's also about us, and that's what's bringing us to the focus on today's Speed Lane. We are talking about play because it's International Day of Play. Now, you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM. That's 0807 773 3336. It's 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
It's the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. Why is it important, for a child to actually play? Why is it important even for an adult to play? Because when we talk about play, the first thing that comes to people's mind is this one is just a waste of time, or it's like a distraction. Why would you say my child should play when he or she is supposed to just be reading? He or she is supposed to, for some parents, after school work, there is actually no time maybe for a child to even get creative, because sometimes it's when they are playing that maybe they find out maybe different talents, they get creative, and maybe in their playtime they are drawing something, or you found that they know how to weave something, different things like that. But for some parents, that is actually a waste of time. And even when it comes to the adult, some adults think that maybe the play is like watching your child play. That is what some people think the play is, just watching your child play. But why is it important for even you as an adult? Because if it's beneficial for the children, then it has to be beneficial for the adults too as well, right? So that is what we are going to be talking about today. And you can hear Felicity's voice already. So we are going to start from you, Felicity, because we are talking about play, and play is for everyone. So how often do you play?
Barely. I don't think I even play at all.
Okay, that's an interesting answer. Hello. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Ben from Hangeior City here in Makurdi.
All right, welcome to the show, Ben.
We are talking about today being a day for play.
Yes.
and it is quite a coincidence
Okay.
that of all days, it is today that the World Cup will start.
Okay.
The World Cup is about play, right? Play at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
So coincidentally, the International Day for Play is coinciding with the day that the World Cup is starting in Mexico, Canada, and then America.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is a day that even if you are not actively going out to play, you will sit down, relax, and see how others are going to play. Because the play that is starting today is going to start at that very international level. I quite appreciate you coming with this topic today.
All right.
The saying that all work, no play makes Jack a very
dog
dog
boy.
girl, right?
Okay. A dog. Okay, we have changed it from boy to girl now. Okay.
Yeah, again, so it makes you a dog girl.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ben, for calling in to be part of the show this morning. It's the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. Why is it important to play? How often do you, as an adult, how often do you let your child play? Or do you just think, are you maybe a parent or a person by yourself who think that play is like a waste of time, and then there is nothing that is coming out of it, and well, it's just waste of time when they're supposed to be reading, or when they're supposed to be maybe working, when you're supposed to be, some people, the moment they want to even do anything that maybe is fun, they just think about this is the time I'm supposed to be using it for another person. So today let's talk about play, because it's International Day of Play, and even our caller, he said coincidentally, today is the day that game begins, World Cup. And then he likes that it actually matches, because it's another reminder. If you don't know what to play, because to be honest, some adults have actually forgotten how to play. That is another way to play. Watch it go on. Even watching that is actually another way to play. So you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
It's the Speed Lane, and we are talking about play. So Felicity, the question, you're not escaping from the question. You were about to state earlier, how often do you play? You said barely, right?
Yes, barely.
Okay, and why is that?
Because I just get busy. It's either school or work or house chores. So there's barely any time to play.
Okay.
Yes.
There's barely any time, like at all. Is it that
if I'm free, if I find any free time, I'm just going to rest.
You're just going to rest. So how about you never maybe think about, sometimes when we talk about play, some people are actually thinking of maybe it's to go and join children on the floor, maybe sit down, but that's not the only way that one can actually play, relieve stress off their minds, and a lot of things like that, right? So even for the play of maybe you pick up a paper, and then you're trying to maybe draw something,
or listening to music or watching movies.
Listening to music, are you sure that one is play? We cannot be sure that one is actually play. Maybe doing something that your mind is actually, because for the music it's more like you're just listening, right? But then if it's something that maybe if you're making music, exactly, if you're the one that is making music, maybe you take and you're just trying to maybe exercise your voice, like it's possible that will have potential for music, and you're doing okay, we can actually consider that one play as well. So why don't you play, Felicity? You said for work, and then school and then chores, and then something like this. But has there been any time that one of these things did not maybe come in the way, and then you found yourself playing? Or when was the last time you played? Let's start from there.
The last time I played, I don't remember.
Okay. So you were really, really young then?
Yes.
But did you have like a free playing childhood, because we all have different parents. While some parents, would allow it, some parents wouldn't.
Yes.
So how was yours like?
Yes, I was allowed to play as a child. Not too much though, but I was allowed to play. Sometimes it's just riding a bike. We just ride around. Sometimes we play as siblings within ourselves. We'll just be running around the house and all of that. So I can say that I played as a child, but not too much, because I think my parents drew a line between, okay, this is time to play and this is time to actually focus on school, and then time to do chores.
All right. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. Why is it important to play? Why is it important for a child to play? Why is it even important for an adult? Because we cannot just limit it to, the children alone, because even adults, they actually need that maybe from time to time. And when we talk about play, many people immediately think about children running around, games or toys, but play is actually much broader than that. For children, play is how they even learn about life, maybe even show how they can build imagination, develop communication skills, sometimes even with themselves. Because sometimes you hear someone saying that this is my only child, I cannot allow the person to be playing like that. And then one day you're wondering how come your child doesn't like talking to other people. He or she did not even have maybe those
or don't
siblings.
even know how to talk to other people.
So people maybe they did not grow up with siblings to actually talk to, and then you're just expecting them one day to know how to talk to someone else when there was even maybe no one their age who was present in the house that they could actually relate to. So you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Call in and tell us about play. You as an adult, when was the last time you actually played? And if you have children, when was the last time? Do you allow them to play? How much
often?
How often do you allow them to play? Or do you just think also that play is waste of time and then they are not going to get anything, out of it, a distraction like that? Let us hear about you. How often do you as an adult play? How often do you let your children play? And also, why is it important, for both children and adults to actually play? But before we get to that, Felicity, can you maybe tell us why you think that some parents maybe do not want their children to play?
Like we've been saying earlier, so many parents believe that it's a distraction. Like, you cannot be distracted from your academics, your studies. They just want you to be very, very focused. They believe that if you play now, it's going to distract you and divert your attention. Some parents even believe that playing makes a child dull.
Okay.
Yes, some parents believe that playing makes a child dull. Because for them, it's only when you read and you are so much into studying and into your academics that you're actually going to be brilliant. If you are distracted by play, then you are not going to be intelligent again. So some parents believe that. So I feel like that's the main reason.
So what about adults? Because if we're saying that for children, some people is because they feel like maybe the children will turn out not to be intelligent. What about adults? Like, why do adults, especially adults, why do they stop themselves from playing? Because I don't want to believe that everyone doesn't have it in their because for me I'm an adult and I have it in my, I don't know if that's why sometimes I start feeling like, are you sure I'm ready for this whole adult thing? Because
you still play a lot.
Maybe not play a lot because scared of maybe what people would actually be saying, like this one is actually playing, not because it's not in my mind. I see some children doing things and I still want to I wish it was me that was doing, or sometimes I have to hide what I am doing so that someone doesn't say, oh, this person is even playing, so that is one reason. I would say one reason, maybe because adults just feel like there is this name. Once you have read that name, adult,
you can believe that playing is childish. It's only
childish,
for children.
and then you as an adult have no business to play. People will even be looking at it. It's possible that they even say, this one, are you sure he or she is okay? Simply because they are actually playing, So can you think of maybe other things that might make some adults not want to even play at all?
I believe that sometimes it's not like they don't want to play, it's that they don't have the opportunity or the time to play, because as an adult there are lots of responsibilities. We all have lots of responsibilities. So I just believe that responsibilities take over, because as people grow older, life becomes filled with them so much: work, school, family, bills, all of those things, and deadlines to catch on up to. So I just believe that the responsibilities take over. That's why so many adults do not play, not because they don't want to. And then, like we said, people associate play with children. Yes. Is for children alone and all of that. And some adults actually believe that if they play, they feel guilty when they play.
There is guilt to play.
Yes, there is guilt because they feel like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing something now. There's something I'm not supposed to be playing like this. I'm supposed to be doing something now. So the moment they start relaxing or playing, they'll just start feeling guilty that they are playing. And entertainment has been replaced with that whole play stuff because now people are watching movies, like I said, listening to music or singing and all of that. So for them, it's entertainment now, no longer play.
Not the one that physically involves
not the one they are
them to actually do something. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And today is International Day of Play. It's a day set aside by UNESCO, to remind us how important play is for children and to encourage societies to even recognize the role of play in healthy development. It's also a time to come together and make sure that every child is able to fulfill their right to play, protecting play, not just as a form of entertainment, but as a part of growth, learning, and even well-being. And this year's theme is very clear and powerful. It's protect play, protect childhood, because restricting opportunities for play directly affects a child's well-being and development. When play is reduced or removed completely, it does not just remove fun, it affects how a child thinks, feels, interacts, and even grows. And beyond mere recreation, play is more than just games. Play is a universal language, a language spoken not only by children but people of all ages across all cultures and even communities. And that is where today's conversation becomes even more interesting, because while we often think that play is something for children, we also have to pause and ask ourselves, how often do we as adults, how often even do the adults play, and how often do you let your children play? Because two of them have to come. A healthy mind is going to be able to raise that healthy mind, because as you're playing and you have that healthy mind, you're able to actually pour that into your child. When you realize the importance of something, you're able to even pour that into your child. So you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
It's play we are talking about on the Speed Lane this morning on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. How often do you play? You as an adult, how often do you play? And do you let your children play? Call in and let us hear what you have to say, whatever reasons you might have, maybe to be doing so or to not do so. Let us hear. Now, Felicity, what did you say? You mentioned some of the reasons that some adults, you even mentioned guilt among others, like for some people, like I'm supposed to be using this time to do something. Hello? Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Again,
could you speak up louder? We cannot hear you clearly.
my name is Natalia.
Oh, maybe you have to call us back because it's really low and not so clear, and they're finding it difficult to hear you. Number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That is 0807 773 3336.
Call in and let us hear from you. How often do you play as an adult? How often do you let your children play? How do you even let them play at all? Because there are people that at all, the kids just watch from the windows, how other kids are playing,
and sometimes even when they are watching from the window, it becomes an issue.
It becomes you're watching people play. You want your head to become dull. Instead of you to write this on paper, you're drawing. Instead of, is this something, if it's not what your teacher asks you to draw, why are you drawing it? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
My name is
Can you hear that? Because, I keep trying and just maybe we'll be able to get you clearer. And it's 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
So call in and let us hear from you. You as an adult, how often you play? For the children, do you let them play at all? And how often do you actually let them play? You can call in and share that with us. Hello?
Hello.
And we were talking about some reasons, why some adults actually refuse to play, about guilt of maybe feeling like I'm supposed to be doing something else.
And I feel like sometimes stress actually drains that desire for fun, because when you are stressed or you are worried so much about the bills or the family and all of that, you just feel like playing is like luxury. And sometimes I feel like adults are so busy that when they actually get tired, they just want to sleep or rest instead of actually playing. So I feel like that's also another strong reason why so many adults do not play.
Stress, thinking about the bills, and then thinking about, and one funny thing, someone actually told me a story some time ago about maybe the time that maybe you spent your time too much. Sometimes if you look at something too much and you don't take time away, maybe look away from that thing, you're just looking at that particular thing, it becomes hard for you to maybe see something differently until maybe you come through the back door, or you take some time away from it and then come back again, and you notice that, oh, this was here all this time and I did not even notice maybe that solution, because you mentioned about maybe thinking about how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to, sometimes you just find yourself worrying without even thinking about solution. But it's possible that even in the play, you just find out that okay, this was actually play, but then you're able to relate it to something that was actually troubling you.
I feel like when you are playing, you are very, very relaxed, and then it gives your mind time to think,
room to actually think that much, think even more creatively, like something else, because you know that you're not under that much pressure, and then you're not actively like this solution must come out, now, and then stuff like that. So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
We are talking about play today on the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makudi. So you can watch live on Facebook and even leave a comment if you have something to say. So we're talking about the importance of play, because we look at why some people even restrict it, and children, even for the adults, different things, but why is it actually important to play? Like, why is it important to play, whether for a child, whether for an adult? But let's talk about the children first, because children first, right?
Yes.
So why is it important for a child to play?
I'll first of all say that it helps them to learn, because children learn a lot through play. They can develop creativity, problem solving skills, communication skills like we're talking about earlier, and even confidence, because when children are interacting with each other a lot, it helps them to simply memorize like information and all of that, and they grow more confident in themselves. And another reason I would say it helps their emotional development, because play allows children to express emotions, release energy, build confidence, and learn how to cope with challenges. Like sometimes we see these things as just playing, but this play, like, even when a child is like playing puzzle, it actually is actually going to help them to like learn how to solve problems and all of that. And another reason I would say is it teaches them social skills, how to communicate with each other, how to socialize with your peers, and all of that. So those are the reasons I think that it's very important for children to play.
Okay. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. Why is it important to let a child play? Why is it important for even you as an adult to play? Because you're listening and you're probably like, oh, this one is for children now. They are talking about play. But why is it important? If you found out that importance and probably you're just stopping yourself, why do you actually think it's important for an adult, for a child to actually play? Number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Call in and let us hear from you this morning on the Speed Lane. We are talking about play, and right now we are on the importance, because you have looked at different reasons, why people feel like they are not supposed to play, or they are just supposed to stop themselves, or even stop the children from playing. But then why is it actually important that children actually go through this? You mentioned even problem solving skills, helping a child develop those skills, because sometimes maybe when you're holding the cane and then shouting,
yes,
this is how you go about this mathematics, this is how you do it, a child might not understand. But then you give them maybe the stones or whatever tools that you have bought with them, like just play with it and learn on your own. Like there is no pressure. They're taking it as play, but at the same time they are learning. And then you don't even know when they are able to even sometimes maybe they are able to apply that to something else. And in this game too, when you do like this, it actually happens like this. Or sometimes maybe they are not even able to realize that their knowledge came from that game, but somehow they develop those skills and those social skills. You want to say something? Go on.
Yes. I also want to say something about those social skills. It will actually also teach them teamwork, the ability to be able to do something as a team. Also teach them respecting rules, because most of the times that when you are playing, there are always rules even in play. So when they respect those rules, they actually grow to respect rules a lot, and also teamwork and patience and even sharing, because during play they share a lot. Children share a lot when they are playing.
Okay. Yes. And some people might want to say there's something, maybe some consent, especially with one of those reasons that we were mentioning earlier. Some people would say like, oh, it's not safe, I don't want them to go outside, I don't want my children to go outside, I don't want this to happen. The place you're living, you can actually play in your house, that house that you are in, and they don't necessarily have to maybe from time to time, okay, they're outside, they see people, little interactions, but then even in their home, because I remember growing up, even myself and then my siblings and even my parents would have dramas, that will act in the house, in that living room. We are sitting down and then acting dramas. We are saying this, even go outside to the car, it's all part of it. But I would notice that my parents were not, let's say, actively involved. They are still doing some of it, saying, okay, we brought the food to mommy, and then mommy say, how maybe they just give in a little, not actively be part of the play. But then I remember things like that we used to play as in the house, because I grew up in the type of don't go anywhere to, that kind of setting, don't go anywhere to. But then it was actually even in the house there were still fun things to do. We're still doing a lot there, or they just
isolated.
Exactly. Everybody's going to learn how to sew with needle and thread today. So while we are laughing about it and everyone laughing at the other person's sewing, things like that, for my mom, sometimes she used to use that as a way to just keep everyone off, so that nobody would say, hey mommy, this one, and then do her own stuff. But then we were playing. So even in the house, when people talk about sometimes it's about maybe I don't want them to go outside, I don't want that to happen. Even in the house, play can happen, right?
Yes.
So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name?
My name is Ape Natalia.
Natalia?
Yes.
All right, welcome to the show, Natalia. We're talking about play. Are you a child or an adult?
I'm an adult.
Adult, okay. So how often do you play?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. So can you remember the last time at least?
Not really.
Oh, okay. So what kind of play do you like? Because it's possible that you're not doing it right now, but what kind of play do you like?
Yeah.
All right, Natalia, you can still call back and be reminded to play. It's you we are talking about right here, to actually go and play. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. You also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Call in and let us hear from you. How often do you play? Do you let your children play? How often do you let them play as well. You can call in and share all of that with us. So we have been talking about why it's important for children to play. So what about the adults? Why is it important for an adult to play?
I'll first of all say that playing as an adult will help release stress or even reduce stress, because life is very tough. Life can be demanding and all of that, but play gives a chance or an opportunity to actually relax your mind, your brain, and all of those things, and then recharge. I also take a break from all those daily pressures and all of that, and it can actually also improve the mental well-being of an adult, because when activities are done purely for enjoyment, it can improve the mood, and like I said, reduce stress, and also increase happiness. And then it also strengthens relationship, because if you are not playing alone, you are playing with other people, right? And a relationship is actually forming with those people that you are playing with. So it will also help to strengthen the relationship with those people that you are playing with, or even build a relationship with someone. And like we have always been saying, to also encourage creativity, because when you are playing, you become more productive and more creative.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
We are talking about play this morning on the Speed Lane, and now we are talking about why it's important for an adult to actually play as well, because play is not just for the children, even an adult, they need that time off. I mean, you're probably a mom, you're probably a dad, who is working so hard, keeping the home together, doing a lot of responsibilities, just like you mentioned. So what about your time off? Some people say it's better to just sleep, but that is like shut down process, not actually that stress relief that people actually think that it's giving them. Just shut down. I want to ignore all of those things and then just shut down and then just sleep. And sometimes some people even go to sleep and then they are still thinking about those things. And once in a while, it's actually important to remind yourself of the little things, the fun things as well. It's not every time that you say you have all those problems, because sometimes, unfortunately, for some person, at the end of the day, like, you end up not even solving those problems. You even lead yourself to an early grave, and then you leave those problems without finding any way to actually solve them. So that is why it's actually different from sleep, because some adults may say, if I want to relieve stress, then why will I not just sleep? I'll be going to go and play. Am I a child? Well, it's not just for the children. Everyone is age appropriate, because you're thinking about how maybe I don't want to go and do, if children are running on the road, if people see me outside running as an adult, what are they going to do? If you are running in the right place, as an adult, it's not going to be considered like, what is this one doing like a child? And also, if while you're at home, like, you're looking for the things, you can play with your children. Some people say, I don't have time, I don't have this. All the family you have your husband, you have your wife, you have the children, you can engage as they are doing this and then trying to involve you. Maybe sometimes it's limited, like, not all the time that you actually maybe engage, indulge the children as they come to you and they're trying to play. But from time to time, you also agree to, okay, they come to you and they're showing you, see this thing I'm trying to make a hand bead, they are playing who makes the best one, and then you're just engaging, you're telling them, okay, so this is this, and I'm going, at the end of the day, I'm going to see which one is going to fit me more. You collect it, put it on, and maybe even act like this is so beautiful. Some of these things, they actually do help. So while you're actually helping them, like, you're making them happy by playing with them, you're also playing. So you're actively involved, you're doing something for them, you're still doing for yourself. So you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
We are talking about play this morning on the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, because today is International Day of Play, a day that has been set aside by UNESCO, to actually recognize, play. Because when we talk about play, people just think that it's something maybe like a waste of time or something like that. But UNESCO set aside this day to remind us how important play is for children and to encourage societies to recognize the role of play in healthy development. Hello? Okay, we cannot hear you, but you can still try and maybe you would catch up with us on 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Call in and tell us, when was the last time you play? How often do you play? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, please. My name is Benjamin Girgir from Yoruba North Bank.
All right, welcome to the show, Sir Benjamin.
Thank you very much. I play most often, especially in the room. I dance alone. It's a fun of play.
Okay.
I play because I feel very relaxed when I play. I am free from depression whenever I play, whenever I dance and sing alone. Play also encourage socialization. It is among youth, even the adults. Somebody said it anyhow that all work and no play makes merry adult.
Okay, it's not, why is everybody using me as the example? Okay, go on.
So I go with that adage. So it is very necessary. It reduces stress. It encourages socialization, creativity, and so forth. It is very important. As I said, I dance. Sometimes in the room, say hello and dance. I even laugh.
Okay.
So that is that. So good.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Benjamin, for calling in to be part of the show this morning. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And we are talking about play. Why is it important to play? Let your children play. You as an adult actually play. And you can still call in and be part of this conversation. Before we go, and the number for you to call is 0807 Speed FM.
That's 0807 773 3336.
Now, that is another beautiful one. We heard from Sir Benjamin Girgir, and he spoke about how he himself plays, because I like how he mentioned depression, because that is like the problem of our youth these days. That is a problem of a very massive problem. A lot of people fall into depression, and for him that is something that helps him to even relieve stress. And you don't have to go anywhere. He say he simply dances, just for fun, sing and even laugh about it, laugh in the house, dance in the house, and the stress is just going off. We are beating it up, and then without even realizing. But sometimes, as an adult, you are able to realize that this is what it does to you. So that's another importance, just like we heard Sir Benjamin said. So now, finally, so what would you say, Felicity, if this is important, then it must have like maybe effect when you're not doing it, like disadvantages when you're not actively maybe even allowing the children, or even as an adult engaging in play. How do you think it actually affects them?
Like we've been saying, I think that if you do not allow your child to play, they will not be very creative. That's the first one I'm going to mention, because creativity is very important, because it's not just something that helps when we are kids. When we grow, we use creativity throughout, and productivity. So if you do not allow your children to play, they are not going to be creative. They are just going to be very, very static and not creative at all, or productive. And another reason is so many people believe that if you play, you become dull and all of that, but that's not true. If you play, it will actually help you develop social skills, like I've been saying.
And not doing that means poor social skills.
Yes, poor social skills. So that's another reason why I would say that play is very important. And if you do not play, you'll not be able to communicate very well with your peers. I think that's why so many people these days are introverts, because
no, don't touch introverts, because I don't think it has anything to do with play.
No,
don't
I
touch
think it actually has a lot to do with it. Because if you were not allowed as a child to go out and to play and all of that, you're not going to be able to communicate with people, and you grow up with that I love being inside thing. You just feel like, okay, it's not actually anything, but that's how you grew up, that's how you were trained and brought up and all of that.
And I would argue there that that's not necessarily a bad. Let me support myself and all that. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No,
You
I'm not
know,
saying it's a
it's
bad
only when that is not where you're finding peace. Because
Right.
for for people like me, I like to talk when it's when it's necessary. Like, I have to talk that up. But you see this normal at home, like, just talk to people and anything like that, they'll always be asking what is wrong, what is happening, or what is wrong. But I am in my peace zone. So for some people who are introverted, while other people are busy worried, like, why is this person not talking? For me, to be honest, I usually maybe don't want to say anything at the moment, but still doesn't mean that when it comes to play, because there are times that I call it, for myself, I call it like social battery, like it's fully charged. I actually want to talk to other
There's
people.
actually a social battery.
There's a social that's what I call it for myself. But the moment that battery is low, like nothing else someone is going to say outside that is going to interest me for me to even actually want to say anything about it. That is why at some point in my life, I don't even believe I could talk. I did not know I could talk, because
it was that serious.
It was that serious. But okay, do you have maybe any other thing, final words to add about play before we go, because our time is almost up?
I will just say that it's very important as an adult to play. Just find the balance between playing and doing your responsibilities. It's very important to play from time to time. That's all I would say.
Okay, and when both children and adults stop playing, life becomes only about pressure for children and only about survival for adults. Now, that is it for the speed lane this morning. We have been talking about play, because today has been it's International Day of Play, and we have made it as something that we'll talk about, because a lot of people ignore that part of development, whether for a child and even for an adult. And I've been your host on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I've been here with
Felicity Girgir.
And also coming up next at 10 a.m. is King James 90s Top 10, right here on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And until then, keep enjoying music of your life. And also don't forget to remember that a life without play is a life under constant pressure.
Hello, my Cudi. Asking Radio is here.